Don't do favors for anyone sounds unethical, doesn't it? After all, helping others is important. But sometimes our help can do more harm than good. In this video, we'll explore 10 unexpected truths that explain why your desire to help can lead to unintended consequences. We don't call for selfishness, nor do we deny the importance of genuine kindness. We offer a Stoic approach that combines compassion with wisdom and empathy with self-understanding. Prepare to immerse yourself in complex issues, re-examine your beliefs, and learn to recognize when our help is truly beneficial and when it can be an obstacle both to our own development and to the development of others. 1. Martyr syndrome. Have you ever noticed yourself putting the needs of others before your own? If so, you may be familiar with what psychologists call martyr syndrome. This occurs when a person prioritizes the well-being of others while sacrificing their own mental and emotional health. This is a dangerous path that can lead to a number of negative consequences. By constantly neglecting our own needs in order to help others, we risk depleting our emotional resources and undermining our inner balance. As the Stoic Epictetus taught, we must focus on what is within our power and remember that our own mind and state of mind is our area of responsibility. Martyr syndrome can lead to burnout and dissatisfaction. Imagine this. You are constantly trying to please your friends, co-workers, and family while neglecting yourself. Over time, this behavior can undermine your sense of well-being and lead to emotional exhaustion. Constantly trying to save others can eventually lead to resentment, both toward those you are helping and toward yourself. Martyr syndrome is a two-pronged stick. Yes, those around you may praise you and admire you, but this is often at the expense of your mental and emotional health. So the next time you feel compelled to sacrifice your well-being for others, remember the words of the Stoics. Maintaining inner peace and balance is the top priority. It's perfectly okay to put yourself first sometimes. After all, you can't pour from an empty cup. 2. Problems with addiction. Have you ever noticed that the more you help someone, the more they depend on you? This observation highlights an important aspect of helping others: the likelihood of dependency. While we generally seek to help in good faith, our help may inadvertently contribute to the development of addiction in those we are trying to help. And this ultimately prevents them from developing and becoming independent individuals. From a Stoicism perspective, dependency can arise when a person becomes accustomed to always being helped, even in the smallest matters. Over time, he or she may begin to rely on others to solve his or her problems or meet his or her needs, rather than developing the skills and resilience necessary to do so on his or her own. This pattern of behavior is particularly harmful when a person is capable of handling a problem on their own, but chooses not to because they know they will get help. There are many real-life examples illustrating the consequences of addiction resulting from excessive help. Consider the parent who constantly does things for their child to keep them from failing, such as doing their homework or resolving conflicts with friends. Yes, the parent is well-intentioned. He wants to protect his child from difficulties, but he is depriving him of the opportunity to learn from his mistakes and develop problem-solving skills. Likewise at work, a manager who controls his subordinates' every move too tightly may inadvertently stifle their creativity and initiative. As a result, employees become too dependent on direction and stop taking responsibility for their work. As a result, dependency issues can create a vicious cycle of learned helplessness, where a person begins to believe that they are incapable of overcoming difficulties without someone else's help. It is important to find a balance between providing support and fostering independence. As the Stoic Seneca taught, at the heart of human happiness is the ability to rely on oneself. True strength lies in giving others the tools and confidence to face life's challenges on their own. 3. Emotional exhaustion. We all have to show empathy, consideration, and support for those who are going through difficult times. While this is certainly commendable, it is important to realize that this behavior can lead to emotional exhaustion. When we absorb other people's problems and traumas without setting necessary boundaries, we open ourselves up to a powerful emotional blowback that can be detrimental to our own well-being. Imagine constantly taking on other people's problems, experiencing the pain and suffering of others as if they were your own. Over time, this can become an unbearable burden, leading to feelings of exhaustion, burnout, and compassion fatigue. Without clear boundaries, helpers run the risk of losing all their energies by not paying attention to their own needs and not taking care of themselves. The Stoics emphasized the importance of self-control and maintaining inner balance. Self-care and emotional stability are necessary to continue helping others. Flight attendants teach us to put the oxygen mask on ourselves first and then the person sitting next to us. In the same way, it is crucial for those who help others to think of their own well-being first. Do things that give you energy and allow you to recover, whether it's relaxing in nature, practicing mindfulness, or connecting with friends and family. This will help you maintain emotional balance. It's also important to develop emotional resilience. It's key to dealing with the inevitable difficulties and challenges that arise for those who help. When helping others, remember that it can be an extremely rewarding activity, but it is important to approach it wisely and analyze your feelings. Set boundaries, take care of yourself, and develop emotional resilience. That way you can continue to help others without sacrificing your mental and emotional health. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Peace of mind is achieved only by those who take care of themselves." 4. Encouraging destructive behavior. In an effort to help, we often act with the best of intentions. However, our actions can reinforce negative behaviors instead of triggering positive change. Imagine a situation in which your friend is struggling with addiction. Wanting to help him, you might offer him money, listen to his complaints, or even justify his behavior. But by doing so, you deprive him of the opportunity to face the consequences of his own actions. Without feeling the full weight of his choices, the person loses motivation to seek help or make any changes in his life. From a Stoicism perspective, it is very important to strike a balance between support and responsibility. When helping others through difficult situations, it is important to show compassion. But it is equally important to hold them accountable for their actions and encourage them to take responsibility for their own well-being. As Epictetus wrote, "The first step to freedom is to admit one's mistakes." Set clear boundaries, offer constructive criticism, and discreetly suggest professionals or resources that can help him. By balancing support and responsibility, we empower people to break destructive habits and take control of their lives. The Stoics believe that true help is often not about supporting and pandering to a person, but about challenging and confronting them. In doing so, we set the stage for true growth and transformation. When a person regains control of their life, they can begin to build their future with a clean slate. 5. Loss of identity. In our noble endeavor to help others, we may not realize that we are losing ourselves. Completely immersed in the needs and problems of those we help, we may find that our own identity gets pushed to the background. We become a caregiver, a confidant, or a rescuer. Imagine a situation where you are constantly listening to a friend in crisis or spending endless hours doing volunteer work. Yes, this is commendable and worthy of respect, but the price we pay for it is a gradual loss of self. Over time, we begin to feel that our role as helper defines us more than our own interests and hobbies. To avoid the loss of individuality that can accompany helping others, it is important to make time for activities that bring us joy and fulfillment. This reminds us that we are not just caregivers or helpers. We are complex individuals with our own dreams and desires. Whether it's painting, playing a musical instrument, playing sports, or reading, find something that helps you energize and remember yourself. It's also important to set clear boundaries. This will help you maintain your self-esteem. Determine when and how you can give help. This will create space for you to meet your own needs and realize your priorities. This may mean limiting the amount of time you devote to helping others, or politely declining requests for help when you feel overwhelmed. Stoics such as Marcus Aurelius emphasized the importance of self-awareness and personal boundaries. Remember, helping others is certainly noble, but it's important not to lose yourself in the process. By respecting your personal boundaries and doing what energizes you, you can continue to help others while still being yourself strong and self-sufficient. As Marcus Aurelius taught, the care of one's soul is everyone's duty. Only by honoring our own needs can we authentically express ourselves in relationship with others in the very way we are truly capable of. 6. Financial strain. One aspect of helping others is rarely talked about is the financial strain it can create. Yes, our intentions may be the purest, but constant financial support can hit our pockets harder than we realize. Imagine a situation where we are constantly borrowing money from someone or paying someone else's bills. We do this to help and have no doubt that we are doing the right thing. However, it is important to realize the long-term consequences of such generosity. Over time, constant financial giving can undermine our own financial stability. In addition, if we become accustomed to the role of financial saver, it can become a heavy burden for us. We may find that we have to sacrifice our own financial goals in order to meet the needs of those we help. This, in turn, can cause those people to lose a sense of independence and control over their finances. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of managing one's resources wisely and setting boundaries. To reduce the risk of financial strain associated with helping others, it's important to set sensible financial boundaries. This may mean that you prescribe rules for yourself about when and under what circumstances you are willing to provide financial assistance. Feel free to talk about these rules with those you are helping. It's also important to learn to say no if you can't or don't want to help financially, even if it seems inconvenient or even cruel in the moment. By setting reasonable financial boundaries and learning to say no when necessary, we can make sure that our desire to help people doesn't compromise our own financial well-being. After all, real help isn't just about financial support. Real help is about empowering people to become self-sufficient and sustainable. As Epictetus wrote, happiness is not achieved by multiplying riches, but by reducing our wants. Sometimes the most valuable gift we can give is to cheer a person up and help them get back on their feet. 7. Neglect of personal needs. When we strive to help another person, we can easily forget about ourselves. We may spend a lot of time supporting a friend going through a difficult time, or we may constantly put the needs of others before our own. But there is a price to pay for such selflessness. If we neglect self-care, we will eventually begin to feel depleted, exhausted, and burned out. Imagine being constantly on call, responding to every request from those around you, and yet neglecting your physical, emotional, and mental health. If we constantly put the needs of others before our own, we will begin to neglect the most important things, like healthy sleep, proper nutrition, and exercise. And without these things, we become more vulnerable to stress, illness, and emotional strain. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of taking care of ourselves and maintaining inner balance. As Epictetus wrote, take care of your mind as carefully as you take care of your body. To maintain a healthy balance in your life, it's important to make time for activities that help you rest and recover after you've helped someone. This could be meditation, journaling, taking nature walks, or a favorite hobby. It's also important to be kind to yourself and remember that your own well-being is important. Just as we show compassion to a friend who is unwell, we should also show it to ourselves. Feel free to take small breaks when you feel you need it, and don't be afraid to say no if you don't have the time or energy to help. This way you will not only restore your own strength, but you will also be able to give more genuine support and help to others. Helping others is noble, but it's important to remember that you can't pour from an empty cup. Pay attention to yourself so that your desire to help doesn't dry up. 8. Impact on relationships. If you are constantly helping others, it can have a big impact on your personal relationships. This impact may be subtle, but it can be very profound. Yes, we seek to help out of compassion, we want to support the person. But if we are constantly thinking about how to meet the needs of others, we may simply not have time to develop our own relationships and strengthen the bonds with our loved ones. Imagine a situation where one partner is constantly devoting time and energy to helping friends or coworkers, and as a result, their other half feels neglected and unloved. Even though one partner is acting with the best of intentions, this imbalance of attention and priorities can sow the seeds of resentment and mistrust in their relationship. This can cause their relationship to turn into something formal and superficial, rather than a union based on genuine intimacy. Partners may begin to feel disconnected and lonely because the depth and sincerity of their relationship is overshadowed by their desire to constantly help someone. Stoic philosophy teaches us to maintain balance and moderation in all aspects of life, including personal relationships. To prevent your desire to help others from destroying your personal relationships, it's important to set healthy boundaries. This may mean making sure you regularly set aside time to have meaningful conversations with your loved ones, to talk quietly, without distractions or intruders. Talk openly with your other half about your needs and priorities. This way you will create an atmosphere of mutual understanding and respect. In addition, it is important to show empathy and sympathy for your loved ones. This will help you not to forget about them. Listen carefully to your loved ones. This way you will help them feel that you see, hear, and appreciate them. 9. Resentment, bitterness, and compassion fatigue. When we help others, we run the risk of encountering a very insidious feeling, resentment. Despite our good intentions, resentment can gradually take root in our hearts, especially when we see that our efforts are not reciprocated or appreciated. Imagine you spent a lot of time and effort to support a friend in a difficult time, but he or she didn't notice or even thank you. Over time, an imperceptible feeling of dissatisfaction can grow into a real resentment. Resentment toward those we have helped can be especially strong if our help is not reciprocated. If they don't say thank you, don't notice our efforts, or refuse to help us when we need it ourselves. All of this can create feelings of bitterness and frustration. In addition, constant compassion, while a wonderful quality, can lead to emotional and even physical exhaustion. Compassion fatigue is a state of complete exhaustion that occurs in those who are constantly confronted with the suffering and trauma of others. Imagine a doctor who spends long hours at the bedside of the sick, or a social worker who listens to stories of violence and trauma day in and day out. Constantly empathizing with other people's pain can take a toll on their own well-being. Stoic philosophy teaches us to manage our emotions and find inner peace. To prevent resentment toward those we help and prevent compassion fatigue, it's important to learn how to take care of ourselves and maintain healthy boundaries in relationships. One way to deal with resentment is to try to understand those we resent. It is quite possible that their actions were influenced by their own difficulties. Try to show compassion and forgive them. This will help you let go of the weight of resentment. To prevent compassion fatigue, it is important to set clear boundaries and be open about your needs. By articulating our expectations and setting boundaries in relationships, we create a foundation for mutual respect and understanding. Learn to say no when you need to. This will allow you to prioritize, meet your own needs, and prevent burnout. Be kind to yourself just as you are kind to others. This will build your resilience and help you cope with challenges. 10. Unrealistic expectations. When we help others, there is one danger. There is an unspoken demand to be the perfect helper. And this pressure can create unrealistic expectations, both of those we help and of ourselves. For example, we may be expected to respond to messages at all hours of the day, or to constantly put other people's needs before our own. These expectations can create a vicious cycle of stress and burnout that is very difficult to break out of. Imagine a situation where a friend is constantly asking you for help, expecting you to drop everything you're doing to meet their needs. Your first impulse may be to want to help without saying no. However, if you constantly try to be on standby, to come to the rescue at a moment's notice, this will very quickly lead to you feeling exhausted. To get rid of unrealistic expectations, it's important to set reasonable boundaries and learn how to manage other people's expectations. Openly and confidently tell your friends and family when you are available and when you are not. Set clear rules about when and how you are willing to help. When you set boundaries, you respect your own needs and priorities, and in doing so, you create the foundation for healthy and sustainable relationships. In addition, to manage other people's expectations, you need to know yourself and protect yourself. This means recognizing your limitations and standing up for your right to put your own well-being first, even if it disappoints someone else or is perceived as selfish. By re-examining our understanding of what it means to be useful, we can begin to combat unrealistic expectations and take back control of our lives. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of maintaining internal balance and personal boundaries. While we should care for others, we must not allow it to be detrimental to ourselves. It is important to remember that the desire to always help everyone can have a negative impact on our own well-being. By setting reasonable boundaries, managing the expectations of others, and protecting yourself, you can develop a healthier and more sustainable approach to helping, so that you can continue to support those in need without destroying your own life. Helping others is a wonderful endeavor. However, it's important to be aware of the dangers that beckon us along the way. From burnout to not being able to recognize warning signs in time, there are many things that should make us think twice and set healthy boundaries in our relationships with those we help. Before helping another person, ask yourself, will it hurt me? Remember, by honoring our own needs and boundaries, we become better people both for ourselves and for those we want to help. Let your kindness come not from exhaustion, but from the fullness of life. Right, I'm a Stoic, and I'll know you've watched this video to the end. I hope these tips are helpful to you. Share this video with anyone who might need it and leave a comment. After all, wisdom must be shared in order for it to bear fruit.